AM 1460, the new WXBR. You are listening to the Metro South Morning Show, PM in the AM. Peter Czymbor here with you this morning. Joining me right now is the bass player for a band who will be unveiling their 11th studio album on March the 11th. He is the bass player for 311. We welcome to the show PNut. PNut, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You're unveiling a new album on March 11th. The band's name is 311. You're unveiling your album on 311. It seems like the perfect coincidence of marketing ploys all coming together for your band this March 11th.
Yes, we've been planning this 24 years in advance, and it is finally coming to fruition. It will be everything we've ever dreamed it could be.
Let's be honest here. Albums are traditionally released on Tuesdays. Have you guys been trying to do this for years and years and waiting for this day to fall on a Tuesday just so you could do it? 311 releases an album on 311?
You know, we're traditionally done when we're done, and we don't really have a time limit, anything to really stop us from releasing it whenever we want. So March 11th was a great deadline for us.
Well, the album will be coming out on March 11th. It's called Stereolithic. It comes out on 311. What about this album separates itself from previous 311 albums? As I mentioned, this is your 11th studio album. You guys are rock veterans at this point. How do you keep on coming up with things you haven't done before?
Well, the thing that's different on this album, because there definitely is, other times it would probably be just lip service and, I don't know, maybe like personal things, like I'm in a different place now, so I'm making slightly different music, but on this album we really started working with Scott Ralston, our live sound engineer and our producer for our fourth album, and he helped us dig up old demos and helped us write in really like a super free, super open-minded, like just wonderfully creative situation, and it's made the album what it will be in our fans' eyes. Hopefully, it'll lay right alongside our classic album and help us progress into the future. Because 24 years in one band is a long time, and 11 albums is a lot of music. But we're still super excited about what's coming up next and what we can mine from our own psyches.
When you mentioned that the band revisited some old demos from years back, why did some of these old demos sort of fall to the wayside, and did you take anything that you found in these old demos and essentially recreate the song for this new album, saying, we were onto something there. I don't know why we did anything with that.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of, I think more often than not, it's kind of like, it's either like a melodic or a philosophic kind of, just like a little like roadblock, writer's block or whatever. Just we're working on so much stuff. We've all got so much on our minds. Some things you just have to kind of let go of, maybe even halfway through the writing process. So to dig up things that did have good kernels of ideas, at the very minimum, to really well thought out songs that just didn't have the right kind of melody on top of it. It's good to go back to those things. And Scotch. He's like a workaholic. He's on this creative just explosion / eruption, and helped us shape this album into something really unique that has something for every 311 fan.
Now, it's been over 2 years, almost 3 years, since you guys released your last studio album. With that being said, it really doesn't seem like you guys have been away for too long, because just last summer you toured and you played right here in our mark. You played at the Comcast Center with Cypress Hill and G-Love. How does touring keep you sharp, and why do you guys tour on summers when you really don't have an album that is out within, say, the past year or so to promote, as is the case with most bands when they hit the road?
We're more of a touring band than an album band anyway. The show has always been more important than what we come up with in the studio. Most of the time, the songs improve the more we play them. I think that's probably the case for most bands. But I don't know. There's something about just the live delivery and just the immediacy and the uniqueness. Every show is slightly different, You listen to the album, it's always the same. There's something more fun, I think, for us as musicians to stretch out on stage, and I think our audience has come around for years and years and now decades to see what we want to do and see what kind of set we put together with our 300 songs, or what feels like 300 songs. It's I don't know, it's a live show. You got to come see it to live it and understand why we've been able to keep this going for so long, because we don't need to have an album to promote to put asses in the seat.
We're chatting with PNut of 311 here on WXBR. You guys have played with a plethora of different artists and toured with a profusion of different people over the years. What's some of the more unique bands and artists that you've toured with over the years where you look back and say, I can't believe we did that? You look back and say, I can't believe we did that, whether it be because it was an odd pairing or because you couldn't believe you were sharing the stage with someone who you respected so much?
Yeah, it's a combination frequently. I'm still that 17-year-old kid who just moved out to California, just happy to be playing shows in clubs around town here in Los Angeles, much less, going to Boston and having 10,000 people come out and see you and sing every word and be crazed, and it's nuts. So I'm always loving the live show, and I'm always really into the personalities that we bring out, because it makes it different every summer. But to be out with the Roots and Medeski, Martin, and Wood, I think that was '06 or something like that. That was one of the best, kind of combinations of odd pairings and unique sounds and respect for miles and miles on all sides of the stage. So that's the thing that sticks out to me. But I love, the fact that we opened up for Kiss when they came back to New York with their makeup on the first time, and playing with the Wailers, and the international stuff that we've done has been super fun, and we don't do it enough, unfortunately. But we played with Rage Against the Machine in Portugal one time, and it was absolutely just mind-boggling. One of the just earth-crushing shows. So much fun. So we bring all that experience and all that excitement to as many shows as we can, to be totally honest. and 311 days coming up, that's something super special for us down in New Orleans. We'll play 60 plus songs and wear our audience out to the point of exhaustion, hopefully, and do it the next time around in 2 years. Fun to have a holiday.
Outside of the band being called 311, having a new album coming out on 311, you guys have 311 Day, where you guys play a show where you do tons and tons of songs dating back to your earliest days, to your back catalog, to your biggest hits. You guys will be doing that in New Orleans this year. Will the goal be to play 311 songs on 311 while the band 311 has a new album coming out on 311? Is that something that can be worked towards?
If the only way to pull it off is if we only played like 31 seconds of each song.
What will the set list consist of for the show?
It'll be everything. It'll be songs that we've never played before live. It'll be brand new songs from Stereolithic, and it'll be deep cuts from albums that never got played and stuff, and then it'll be favorites, and just it'll be everything to make what'll probably end up being almost a 70-song set list. You're gonna dig from all corners of a 24-year career.
Now, with there being so much play on the band's name 311, where did you get the name 311?
A friend of mine was arrested while skinny dipping in Omaha and was cited for illegal exposure, or indecent exposure, excuse me. And the code for that in the Omaha Police Department is 311.
So if it wasn't for a public lewdness incident in Nebraska, 311 would not have this band name or have all the subsequent marketing ploys that come with being called 311.
Exactly.
That must have been the greatest arrest ever in retrospect for skinny dipping in Omaha.
Yeah, it was a funny day. It was like just warm enough to get wet, but the it snows and gets super cold in Omaha, so the pools are on a schedule. I'm sure like they are in Boston. So it was a little before time, and it was middle of the neighborhood, and just comedy ensued before and after, and continues throughout to this day.
So he was in a public swimming pool. It wasn't like a private residence. It was actually at a public swimming pool. He just decided to take off his clothes and hop in.
That's my friend Jimmy.
That's Jimmy, and he birthed the band name out of that. We're chatting with PNut of 311 here on WXBR. You mentioned earlier that 311 far more of a touring band as opposed to an album band. With that being said, you guys consistently get rock radio play all over the country, but rock radio in recent years, it seems like the number of stations playing exclusively rock music have dwindled. How has that affected the band, if at all, because you guys do have a strong touring support?
I think it's affected us here and there because we've had some number ones, on radio, like on paper, that really didn't turn into sales and stuff like that. So, you can have spins for weeks and years, but people kind of buy music and are influenced by new sources of music in different ways now. So you've got to capture their attention not only on radio, but through social media and YouTube and you name it. You're the marketing department now if you're in a band, and you better be good at it because those youngsters in MGMT are incredible at it.
It's interesting because every time we've had a member of 311 on our show, not only does the interview air over the radio, but we archive our stuff online, and it does seem that there's this swell of 311 support online that we see the numbers spike a little bit when one of you guys come on. Is that all you guys hands-on with the social media?
Yeah, we've been hands-on for as long as you can be online, with bulletin boards and websites in the archaic 28K or 24K modem.
Oh, we still remember that sound. Everyone still remembers the.
Oh, exactly. And some people put it on albums, which is so funny. People in the future be like, "What the hell is that?" And then with Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, like I already said, it's just. You can touch people immediately with your words and your images and connect one-to-one in immediate, instantaneous time. It's mind-boggling.
We're chatting with Aaron PNut Willis of 311. We'll just call him PNut here on WXBR. You mentioned that the band tours consistently. You guys release albums every few years. With that being said, members of the band have still found time to do side projects here and there. Do you guys really get any time to breathe or just relax and not think about music, or is music your hobby as much as it is your profession?
Yeah, I think the song would still exist if no money was made is a line in a song called Starshines, and it's really super true. We just love music. We're thankful to have our audience beyond the capability of expressing into words. But at the same time, we're musicians at heart, always have been, always will be, and we just love what we do. So, what was the question?
Well, I think you answered the question. So
okay,
I don't know if I need to even restate. It was basically saying, is music as much your hobby as it is your profession? I think you basically said it when saying the song would exist if the money wasn't there as well. So satisfies me. It should satisfy our listeners. It's PNut from 311 here on a WXBR. The new album is Stereolithic. It comes out on March the 11th. The new single is 5 of Everything, which we will play out to break in just a few moments. PNut, any final words for our listeners before I let you go this morning?
Well, you were saying, I remember now at the tail of the question, like, do we get time to ourselves? And sure, it's probably more than it seems. I know John Frusciante put out like 3 albums in 3 months, and was kind of famously saying that musicians are really lazy, and I totally think that's true. Like it it takes way too long for musicians to put out quality, kick-ass new tunes nowadays. But it does take up a lot of your time, and for this long of a career, and for as many songs as we have to take time off to appreciate our families. 4 out of 5 of us have kids now, and then you just come to the table with that fire burning inside you from a life that you've been living outside of the tour album, tour record, tour pass out schedule that we have. We learned that a long time ago, and that's probably one of the things that most bands either burn out from not doing, and not learning their lesson along the way, or just learn to tough it out and start making really crappy music. So we find time to do it. We make space. We love our side projects, and we love what we do as our quote 311 day job. It's been a dream come true, and it will be until the day we die.
Well, 24 years and still going strong. That's PNut of 311. New album out 311 called Stereolithic. New single 5 of Everything will play out to PNut. Thank you so much.
Anytime. Great talking to you.
You're listening to the Metro South Morning Show, PM and the AM. Mike Pavis at us with a news update up next. Stick with us.